Sound of Freedom is easily the most important movie to come out in the last decade. It sheds light on what is probably the most ignored problem in the world. It's about the true story of two children that are taken into human trafficking and a man that's trying to save them. This is actually not the video I was planning to put out today, but I went to see Sound of Freedom in the movies yesterday, and I just had to talk about it. Ironically, I would not have even heard about this movie if there wasn't such a crazy effort being made to prevent people from seeing it. The only reason I knew about it at all is because of the hundreds of instances I've seen across social media showing how theaters are doing everything they possibly can to prevent people from watching it. In case you haven't heard about all this, they've had so-called malfunctions with projectors, the AC, random music playing during the movie restarting in the middle of the story, and cases where the theater showing this movie have been evacuated due to what they call an emergency, even though every theater next door is apparently fine. The people that were supposed to see this movie are then offered full refunds for their tickets, which shows a clear motive to me that they're trying to prevent this movie from seeming as popular as it actually is by taking away ticket sales. I'm not a detective or anything. I don't know anything more than what I've seen floating around on TikTok and YouTube, so go look at that if you're interested. But to me, that's what this seems like, unless this is all some genius, elaborate marketing scheme. On top of this, the movie has had endless roadblocks thrown at it to prevent it from coming out, which has delayed its release by 5 years. After hearing about all this, I thought, if this is true, any movie that's being, silenced so hard must be worth watching. And long story short, it is. This is the first movie I've ever personally felt an actual moral obligation to go watch and to spread to other people. Now, before we get into it, this is a heavy movie, and it is with a heavy heart that I must inform you, there will be no subscriber ad today.
This decision is rubbish! That's rubbish!
I know, I'm sorry. This movie was very hard to watch. Without giving any spoilers, it had me holding back tears at least 4 separate times, and at the end of the movie, I could not hold them back, and I was not the only one. This movie doesn't need great writing or honestly much character development to get emotion out of the audience, because the horrible things you're watching are true, and they're happening in the real world to real children right now. I find it really hard to critique the writing of movies based on real events, because they can't change much about what happens without misrepresenting the people it's about or the things happening. But if they do, that's not necessarily criticism, because it's also a movie and they have to make it entertaining. But after watching this movie, I read a bit about how accurate it is to what really happened, and it seems to be very close to the actual story. Again though, I am sadly not Batman. A lot of scenes in this movie are heartbreaking and absolutely disgusting. I'm not going to show scenes from the movie outside of the trailer for spoilers, and because, honestly, I don't want to watch them again. And I understand I'm just some dude on the internet, and who the hell am I to tell anyone what to do, but I truly think watching this is an experience everybody should put themselves through, and that this is a movie that should be supported. I cannot understand how anyone is attempting to paint this movie as some sort of propaganda. There is no reason at all this movie should be considered controversial. I found nothing in the story that would make any reasonable person feel attacked. There's no misinformation being spread by this film at all. Any quote-unquote conspiracy theories people might form by watching this movie are formed from the real-life, true events of the story, not by any misleading or exaggerated thing within the movie. I mean, there is literally no agenda being pressed here, other than obviously denouncing child trafficking, which is something I would really hope pretty much everybody can agree on. And I think the question of, well then, why is this movie receiving this insane amount of pushback, has a pretty clear and scary answer, which I'm not going to say here, as I would rather not end up on Raymond Reddington's list. I know you're thinking, but you're the one that made this video. This whole operation was your idea. But sorry, I'm just not brave enough for politics. Regardless, the conclusion that I have come to on why so much work is being put into shutting this movie up doesn't make me feel great about the state of the world. The only thing I will spoil about the movie is that there is a post-credit scene that ends in a call to action to spread awareness and tell people to come watch it, and that's exactly what this video is. This movie had a really big impact on me, and I think it will on you too, so please, if you can, go watch it. But that is going to do it for this one. Don't worry, this isn't going to turn into some political channel, though I wouldn't even consider this video, or this movie even, to be that. I mean, this is a movie, this is a story, thus it belongs on the channel. I'm going to watch Oppenheimer next week. I've heard it's very good, and if I have anything worth saying about that, I'll probably make a video about that soon. The video I had planned is going to come out soon as well, so stay tuned for that. With all that said, I'll catch you all in the next episode of HeadCannon.